Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I want to record this for posterity, that at some point we do need to tell our patrons that I realize now that I have more of a connection with the Bonus Jonas than I do the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, same. Yeah.
And that sounds more of a, catchy headline than it is.
Right.
It is not clickbait.
Yeah.
God bless you, Frankie Jonas.
Yeah. Wherever you are.
For being your straight self, question mark?
I know, yeah.
I'm still unclear on that.
I'm pretty sure he is, but also I have not done enough research and I don't care enough to Google it.
Seems fake, but sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hi, welcome to Into the Twilight, where we side-eye everyone who says they're straight.
Yes, this is a no straight zone. No straighties allowed.
Listen, whatever. You know? It's fine.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say, though, is that, I thought I was straight when we started this podcast. So,
Listen, we all make mistakes, so...
Listen, we're all on our path.
It's called growth. Look it up.
It's... Listen, we're all... Listen. Hey. Hey.
Yeah.
It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
We're all on our own path, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
But welcome to Into the Twilight.
Way-ho.
Everybody say, way-ho.
Everybody at home. Just
Here, how about this? I'm going to raise my hands. I'm going to start a wave. We're going to start it in the fucking past. And you're going to start it and continue it in the future. Ready? Way-ho.
Wow.
There you go.
That was beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's kind of, it's fucking brought a tear to my eye,
This will be the thing that brings us all together.
Finally. Jesus
One communal
Christ.
way-ho.
Is that what that Coke ad wanted that Donald Draper made?
Oh, stop. Yes. Absolutely. That's what it was. Everyone just holding
The
their
communal
hands.
way-ho.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to Into the Way-Ho. We're here to talk about gay cryptids.
Yes. First and foremost.
First and foremost. And then secondly, the Frankie Jonas.
Yeah. And also, I guess, the works of Stephanie Meyer and whatever is inspired by that. Whenever we get a chance
it's all
to.
fucking connected.
It's true.
I have my red string.
Yeah.
And don't doubt my ability to filibuster and connect all of these things, because I will.
Absolutely.
God damn it.
Yeah.
If you give me enough time and enough juice, I will talk until your ears bleed.
Yeah, there is no stopping an Enneagram 7 from talking about their hyperfixation of the day.
Listen, you give an Enneagram 7 with ADHD and an ability to overtalk as a trauma response, some red string, and a couple of hyperfixations, they won't shut the fuck up. Whether you are still in the room or not, they'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Goody, how are you?
Ooh, I'm good. That's actually a great segue into my thing this week, believe it or not.
Really?
Speaking of things that are lasting forever, basically, I want to take a minute to talk about the buck wild shit that's happening on Twitch right now.
Can we please?
It is taking over my life. So if you don't know, there's a streamer named Ludwig. He's one of the top streamers on Twitch.
For
he's
you non-gamers.
He's like a variety whatever. He decided to do a subathon, which is basically
not a sex thing.
Not a no, that's against TOS. Allie, you can't do that.
Right, got you. I got you.
Whenever somebody subs or does bits or donates or whatever at any capacity, that adds seconds to a countdown timer. Gotcha. So it's it's building up this basically long stream that they will just give him money so he can to not stop streaming.
Gotcha. Okay. So like the opposite of the world clock.
Yes, exactly. Right. Because people are pushing it up where it's going down, but like more people are just bringing it up and up and up. He started this on Sunday. And so today, when we were recording, he hit the 72-hour mark straight of streaming. He thought this was going to be like a 24-hour thing, which even then, he's never done any stream longer than like 10 or 15 hours or something like that. So this man is being held hostage on twitch.tv.
For charity.
Yeah, well, it's like, I think he said he's like gonna donate like half of it to charity, whatever.
Right. Because it's the Newtons.
Right, it's the Newtons, whatever. And also, he's already raked in a shit ton of money. Because to be able to keep him going and like keep the clock going up, you have to like obviously keep donating and stuff like that.
Right.
And he's been stuck at like the 32-hour mark as far as the countdown goes for like 2 days. I check. Oh my God. I've been like dipping in and out because like he also does it when he's sleeping, obviously too. So he just like he sets up this little like
just keeps it going.
Yeah, he keeps it going. It's all.
Oh God, I was so worried this man was not sleeping.
No, he's sleeping. I don't think a lot, but he is sleeping. But like he has a little bed set up in the room where he just like checks out at night. But like while he's sleeping, all of the people in the chat who are still fanatically watching it will just like gift 1,000 subs or 100 subs and just like fully keep him over. I checked like earlier this morning and like saw how he was doing, and he was at like 32. And I checked again before we started recording, and he's still at 32. So even though he did 8 hours worth of streaming or whatever from in that time, the clock basically has not moved at all because people keep giving him money.
Oh my God.
Honestly, by the time this episode comes out, he might still be streaming. I think it's very likely that he's going to be here for a long time, and I don't know how he's going to get out of it. And I'm very nervous for him.
One of the most amazing things, I think, over the past year, like there has been an incredible amount of selfishness.
Yes.
And greed and just blatant, like, hatred, I think, over the past year, to at the very least.
Right.
That is like not surprising, but still very disappointing.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing things, I think, over the past year for me is seeing these kind of live streams that people have been able to do.
Yeah.
And the kind of like charity events that have been able to go on, given how much that we know that people don't have the funds right now.
Yeah.
And that shit makes me so emo.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like a common joke on Twitter, right? Is that like friends are always just like passing the same $20 to each other.
Yeah.
But like there is a part of that is very much just like it's not even a small wonder, right? It's like a big piece of happiness of like in this awful time. Seeing that like this person is just like being able to talk to their fan base and they're like, no, we want you to keep doing that and we will give you funds.
Right.
Knowing that not only just for you to like sustain your life, but also for charity.
Yeah.
God damn, that's so cute.
It's really cute.
That's wild.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm glad in a weird way that our happy things are connected. I am doing okay.
Yeah.
Since I was going to say listeners since we last spoke, but this is a parasocial relationship that we have here. Right. Y'all just listen to us. But it does feel like it feels like a conversation to me in a weird way. Since we were last recording, I have started a fun new medication. I'm on meth. And before you like all side-eye me, I was prescribed it.
Right.
Listen, for folks that are neurodivergent, sometimes doctors don't know what to do, and so they just prescribe you meth.
Sure. Happens.
Sometimes they just give you that when you have ADHD. I'm on a very low dosage right now that's not really doing anything for my like overall productivity. But it's making me so goddamn thirsty.
Yeah.
And I have never felt this way before in my whole life. So what I wanted to bring to the space today is electrolytes. specifically a product that I'm not going to name because they're not paying me.
Right.
But just electrolytes in general.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is that I'm carrying around now my emotional support water bottle
Yes.
and filling it with electrolytes. And never in my life over the past week have I resonated more so with fucking Bella and her styrofoam cup of blood than I have now. And it is so frustrating because when I put my electrolyte powder in my water bottle and I taste this sweet, salty water, I feel bliss for the first time. And it's so frustrating because every time I take a sip and I'm like, ugh, it tastes good.
Yeah.
And every time I can't help but think about fucking Bella sipping out of her styrofoam cup of blood.
Wow.
It's so frustrating.
What's it like to be a parody of the stuff that we do here?
Of myself?
Yes.
Exhausting. Exhausting is what it is. But that is my support for electrolytes.
I love that.
I feel like a mermaid who just needs just salt and sugar, and because I'm just so dehydrated all the time.
Yeah.
And I just want to now I understand, like, I don't know, I was always a big fan of Gatorade as a kid, but my mom would never let me have it except for when I was like playing sports.
Sure. Yeah.
But it just tasted so goddamn good.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, that's my pitch for electrolytes.
Yeah,
Fucking
try 'em
take
out.
care of your body.
Yeah.
They're good for you. So if you hear a little jingle jangle, it's my fucking huge hydro flask because I've never been more thirsty in my entire life. And if I don't while talking for an hour, I will die.
Yeah.
I won't die, but I feel like I'm dying.
Allie is currently just living in Lawrence of Arabia, just stuck in the desert, riding a camel.
For real. Every time when I'm teaching now, my kids will just hear that little, like, suck. When I don't know if any of you have a hydro flask, but you know, like, when you're done, you hear that little, like, suck at the end.
Yeah.
And my kids are like, because I have a microphone, right? They're like, what is that sound? Like, what are you doing? Are you, like, kissing your microphone? I'm like, no, that's just my water bottle. And it's a very embarrassing conversation to be had. But that's me, and that's my life. That's what's going on with me. That is my truth. We have a small amount of current events this week, but I'm happy with the ones that we've brought to the space.
Yeah, it's quality, not quantity, babes. All right?
100%. It's the exact opposite of our podcast.
Damn. I mean, you're not wrong, but wow.
I would like to think that they're all great. We've just been going on for a long time, but you know what? Whatever works.
Listen, there's no way of knowing if every episode is good. There's really no way.
No, there's no way of knowing when the way that we work is we are here and present for an hour, and then we just let it float off into space.
Right. And then forget about it forever.
We have our first piece of news today, and it is a celebratory moment.
Ooh.
After all of this time, after all of the setbacks, Matt Reeves is here to celebrate on Twitter and let folks know on the 13th of March that the Batman is finally done filming.
Finally some fucking food.
Yep.
Let's go.
The way that he tweeted this out was with a photo of a box of the most cryptid pieces of paraphernalia I've ever seen.
If you told me this photo was from a literal crime scene, I would believe you.
100%. Absolutely. I can see definitively a movie slate.
Right.
And then it looks like tarot cards,
Sure.
a whoopee cushion, and flip-flops. And that's all I see.
Yeah. What more do you need? That's the Batman, baby. That's...
And honestly, you're not wrong. That is kind of the movie in a nutshell.
Sure.
I just want to know what PA put this Pyrex box or like Sterilite box together.
Yeah.
What
the
is
curation
happening
here is just mind-boggling.
Yes, I'm very confused. I want to know what's going on. but I know Matt Reeves will give us absolutely no elaboration on here.
Great.
So we will have to wait, 18 months until this is done?
Yeah.
So eventually it will come out. Who's to say?
Yeah, there is at least a movie that has been filmed, so we know that it's less as like intangible than it was previously.
Absolutely. Yes. Now we just continue waiting, and hopefully there is an editing process that happens at some point.
Yeah.
But again, we will see.
Yeah.
We have a listener email.
Hell yeah.
That is their Twilight backstory, which is very exciting.
Hell yeah.
I always want you all to share these. If you're ever like, no, this is too boring, I don't want to send it in and we'll fucking decide.
Let us be the judge of that.
Yeah, just send it in, and if we think it's boring, then we just won't read it. It's fine. This is from our listener, Nikki, who has decided to share their Twilight backstory with us. So, the year is 2007, and 14-year-old me lives with my sisters. My oldest sister, 17, got her hands on Twilight and New Moon. She tells all of us how amazing these books are, and at first I think, whatever, I don't care. But then most of my friends start reading it too, and it was everywhere. So I borrowed my sister's 2 books and read them both in a single weekend. At the time, my little middle schooler heart was like, holy shit, now I know what love is. My sister then buys Eclipse, and I thought I would die waiting for her to finish it so I could get my hands on it. I don't know if your family did that too, but we used to share books in my household too, and the idea of having to wait for it,
yeah.
When I finally do, I consume the entire thing in a single night. Yes, I stayed up until about 4 a.m. reading. Next, my younger sister reads it. What ensues over the next few weeks is all of us discussing Twilight nonstop and deciding which team we are on, Edward or Jacob. I was 100% that person that had to be like, oh, I'm different. I like Jacob. Yeah, I'm so cool. My 2 sisters were Team Edward, and I was just like, no, Edward is hard and cold. Who wants to fuck a statue? Which, to be honest, was I wrong? I cannot remember which was first, Breaking Dawn coming out or the Twilight movie releasing, but I clearly remember both things. My sister pre-ordered Breaking Dawn so we could get our hands on it as soon as it released. Having to wait on Breaking Dawn to release and then my sister to finish reading it was absolute agony. When I finally read it, I actually remember thinking the whole Jacob and Renesmee pairing was brilliant because my man Jacob finally had someone to love. As an adult, I now loathe this and think it is the absolute worst. I can say I absolutely hated the name Renesmee and thought it was pronounced Renesmee until my sister corrected me. You know what? Hey, Nikki, you are not the only one.
You're valid.
You are valid. I can remember so clearly going to the weekend premiere of Twilight and the theater being absolutely packed. I screamed along with a million teenage girls. Whoa, Nikki, how big are your theaters? As the character came onto the screen. I remember loving everything about the movie. I mean, that baseball scene. Oh, man.
Cinema.
We went to Nikki, you get it. We went to every single midnight premiere after that, and I always donned my Team Jacob shirt that I bought right before New Moon came out. I was ready to argue with anyone who was against Team Jacob and defend my man. You know what, Nikki? You sound like a fucking Nikki, to be honest.
We're getting big Nikki energy.
Honestly. I even had 2 giant posters of Taylor Lautner on my wall, one with the Twilight wig and one without. I would seriously sleep with 2 Taylor Lautners watching over me. After all the movies went out and I went to college, I had not talked with anyone about Twilight in a long time, and it was my distant past. Then I joined TikTok and stumbled upon your podcast. I knew I had to share my Twilight backstory with you all and show that the Team Jacob girls did exist, but to be honest, were we really not just Team Taylor Lautner? You know what, Nikki? That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
The idea of having 2 Taylor Lautner posters above your bed, and my personal image, Nikki, is just you going, mwah, And then just, like, hitting your wall.
Yes, gotta kiss them both before bed.
Absolutely. Gotta kiss the wig, and then you gotta kiss the one without. That's amazing, Nikki. I love the idea of you just, like, bringing your fists up, going into the theater, being like, you know what? Fight me.
Yeah.
I love that energy. That's fantastic. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's amazing. It's a lot of the same energy that we are kind of bringing in from the host today.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of, like, if you want to fight me energy. So I love that. When we last left off in the host,
shit was wild and dangerous.
Shit was wild. Shit was dangerous. There was a strong fight scene that was very hard to imagine. Wander was thinking about letting Kyle do the death.
Right.
And just fall. And then decided at, like, the 11th hour, with 1 second on the shot clock, to not. And to be like, help!
Yeah. Oh my god.
Which was, like, very frustrating, right?
Right, yeah.
Not great. So...
yeah, because now he gets to be all like, wah. It's like, you try to do a hit. You try to do a
exactly.
kill. So, shut up.
And especially because it seems like, I mean, if he ends up surviving and not just, like, still falling into the river, it seems like with the community's rules, Jeb's gonna kill him anyway.
Right. Well, that was something that was, like,
waste a bullet?
Frustrating too, which is like Wander, and I love Wander for having a conscience, right? I love it.
Same.
But, like, there's so much, like, leniency given to this man for no reason after literally almost dying because of him, and being like, well, I can't, like, tell anyone that happened because, like, he broke the rules and he'll get got. And it's like, well, maybe that's what needs to happen, my dude. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. No excuses.
Stick up for yourself, man. Like, come on. Literally
no
almost
excuses.
died. And your first thing is like, what about his feelings, though?
Yeah. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck his feelings. Fuck this guy. So this chapter starts, and Wander is yelling for help. And then, weirdly enough, immediately, someone answers that call for help. Like,
suspicious.
Immediately. Very confusing. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I tried to, like, we mentioned last time is that it is right, like, ass crack of dawn. Like, right before people are trying to, like, get up.
Yeah.
So, and Stephanie tried to make that very clear. So I am trying to give the benefit of the doubt of maybe someone was about to wake up and then heard this scuttlebutt. And, like, and so maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Sure. But Ian answered this call immediately. Like, heard the bat signal and was like, I got you. I am here.
Right. I'm here to save the day.
Has the rifle in hand and is like, what's good? I am here. And he, like, immediately knows what to do because Ian is skilled in all things. I would imagine that in the before times, this man was like one of those people that are good in the woods and shit. They get those like stickers when they're out in the woods.
Oh, geocaching?
No, they like
Spelunking?
You know, when they like make a fire, they get stickers from people. You know, like, I don't know if there's like people do it in school. No, like not in school, but like Boy Scout. Okay,
yeah, I was gonna say.
They're not stickers, they're patches. Okay, got it.
Literally, my brain, I was like, well, there's no way it's Boy Scouts, because that's just... it's too easy. It's too
okay. I would imagine that Ian was a fucking Boy Scout.
Yes.
Because, like, he's good at all this stuff, and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the apocalypse, right? So, like, you kind of have to, but whatever. Anyways, stickers. I want stickers. Anyways, so... Naturally, Ian is like, I got you. I'm going to figure this out. He's like, disperse your weight. He's got this. He's like figuring it out. The problem is when he starts to neutralize the situation and start asking questions. And then is starting to then put the pieces together and is like, oh, what are you doing here, actually? What do you, and then also, what are you doing here with my brother?
Yeah.
And it's clear that Ian is not necessarily jumping to the, like, telenovela, like, jealousy, like, but more so, like, starting to put the pieces together of, like, oh, there are, like, broken pieces of stone. Kyle is knocked out, and Wander is, like, beaten to all shit, and is like, oh, okay, got it. And Wander, it also doesn't help that Wander is a really bad liar, because Wander has a conscience. So Ian puts together, like, there's blood in Wander's hair. Wander's nose is bleeding. And starts to be like, oh, got you. Kyle was going to throw you into the river. And so Ian, like Melanie kind of thought about, is thinking like, oh, I should just kill my brother now. Like, let's just save the idea that, like, there was, if we leave Kyle alive, there's going to be a tribunal. Like, Jeb keeps this stuff pretty clear. Let's just leave Kyle where he is. He'll fall in. Mm-hmm. But Wander, bless Wanda's heart, has a conscience and is like, no, let's try to keep Kyle alive. He's your brother, after all. And Ian's like, fuck, like, God, anyway, fuck. Because now that makes things almost, like, more difficult for Ian. Of now he has to get two bodies out of this, like, dangerous situation rather than one.
Right. Yeah.
And he would have to, like, grapple with the situation of, like, someone that he is related to by blood just tried to kill someone that he very obviously cares about and is doing a shitty job trying to cover up.
Right.
So he is now trying to, like, get Wanda to dock, but Wander can't use one of their legs. It's unclear if there are broken bones, but something is, like, very fucked up.
Yeah, not looking great.
Not great. And Ian is like, okay, well, if I have to carry you, you gotta hold the gun.
Yeah.
And Wander is like, no, fuck that. Like, almost, like, throws the gun away. And Ian's like, that is literally our only safeguard in this place. You need to hold on to this thing. They're now walking to dock. In this process, they see Jeb, because, again, it is starting to be morning time at this time. There's almost like a conversation here where apparently it's made clear that, like, Ian assumed Wander was in trouble, and that is why he had grabbed the gun earlier, which... Sure. Great, good. Wander is at least sticking to the story that it's aggressively not what happened.
It's very much a lie. Yeah, she, like, she hit her head, and, like, there was, like, a crack in the floor or something.
Yes. So part of the floor collapsed. Kyle hit his head getting out of the way, and that is the one that she is sticking to. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Even though Ian knows that's a lie, Jeb knows that's a lie, Wanda knows that's a lie, but no one is, like, being like, Wanda, we know that's a lie, tell the truth. They're just like, okay, God, all right, goddamn. Now, all of these other men have to go and pick up Kyle's unconscious body, take him to dock as well. Because sure. Fine. But Wander is very much more concerned about Kyle and also about Walter. Because we still have that whole situation about, like, him needing to be, like, doctor-assisted suicide as well.
Right.
Then about, like, her whole body and her well-being. Because sure.
Yeah.
Great. Good. We love a self-sacrificing fucking protagonist, Stephanie. Thank you. Great. Good. So they get to dock, and this is when things don't go great, because Doc starts to do his preliminary exam, And Wanda is certifiably fucked up.
Yeah.
From not just Kyle beating the shit out of her, but also because during this process of the floor naturally collapsing in, there were a lot of injuries that occurred as well. And I think also Ian had mentioned, like, just the process of, like, carrying, there was some jostling that happened there too. Wander's story. You fell on a rock. The floor collapsed. Very much falls away instantaneously when Ian and Doc and Jared see Wander's injuries. And just because there's, like, some gentle touching on Wander's side, and it looks like there's a broken rib, not really where Wander had mentioned, like, the floor fell in. And there's injuries on Wander's head. Like, there's shit all over. And it's like, Wander, your story doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. But Wander will not. Because, sure, whatever. Great. Thank you, Stephanie. Whatever.
Right.
Wander's concern at this time is about taking care of Walter, who is still also in the, like, hospital wing. As well as now seeing, like, 5 literal grown men carrying Kyle into the hospital wing. And Doc asks, like, how long has Kyle been unconscious at this point? Because it's obviously not good for a person to be knocked unconscious.
Yeah, definitely not ideal.
Especially not for what Wanda mentions, which is like 20 minutes. Not great.
Yeah.
And at this point, Doc kind of like brings Kyle to when they set him on a cot and like pour some water onto him. And so Kyle like wakes up. And this would be a great time for Kyle to redeem himself, to maybe stick to the story that Wanda has said.
Right.
Of the floor caving in.
Take one for the team.
Yeah, of getting hit by the rock.
Yeah.
However.
What he doesn't do is that.
What he doesn't do is anything close to that.
Yeah.
Instead, he does the exact opposite by ending this chapter by looking over at Wanda and saying, "Ah, fuck, I didn't kill you. Damn it."
Buddy,
and so
you blew it.
So you don't need to hook this guy up to a lie detector test.
No. Pretty outright with it, actually.
Because he kind of did it himself.
Wanda is really going to bat for this guy for no reason that we're given. Like, they have no reason to defend this person, or at least try to make them seem like not a murderer. And he just blew that totally out of the water.
Kyle has tried to kill Wanda at every possible opportunity.
Right.
From the time that Kyle first saw Wanda, he was like, I'm a kill. Mm-hmm. And has not stopped since. Is a very flat character.
Yeah.
And does not stop from there. So, naturally, when chapter 34 starts, we see Jared, also a flat character, stick to the one personality trait that we know about him, which is that Jared likes to do a hit.
Yeah.
And he smacks the ever-living shit out of Kyle.
As you do.
Listen, as you do when you don't have impulse control.
Yeah, which clearly he does not, because that is his one character trait.
And this man, who I have no sympathy for, but we do know has a lot of brain injuries and all other injuries at this time. His eyes roll back into his head, and his mouth goes slack. So he is down for the fucking count.
Yeah.
So, great. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you for your service.
Jesus Christ, Jared. Anyways.
I think we really can sum this book up by dudes fucking doing shit, thinking they're helping people, and it's clearly the opposite thing that anyone wants them to do.
That is Stephanie in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's pretty much her brand.
it is like, oh, we have a self-sacrificing protagonist.
Right.
Men doing a hit. Emotionally immature romantic leads.
Yes.
Welcome.
And yet they're also still the martyr somehow.
For real. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then we have really pure, soft, sweet boys.
Yes.
Who don't get enough screen time. What is this?
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Give me more of my sweet little boys.
What is this imbalance that we have going on here? Anyways. Oh, and then also we have the emotionally cold doctor figure. How dare I forget?
Oh, yes, right.
How dare I forget?
Crucial.
They are emotionally cold, but they're also the most compassionate person that they've ever met. How dare I forget? Speaking of which, Doc is like, actually, medically speaking, I don't think that was the most helpful for Kyle. But
so you're saying a hit will not bring someone out of a coma and
they
make them
will
good out
not.
of it?
They will not. But Jared, thank you for your input, Jared, says, but I feel better.
Right. So that's what matters.
Fuck you, Jared.
Yeah. Sorry I'm not a medical professional, but I do know how to hit, so I'm just trying to use my assets here and help the group, okay?
He literally sounds like a D&D character.
Yes.
Like, just a tank. Like,
yeah, all he does is hit.
All he does is hit. Which is great, but
sure.
Not as a romantic lead. Get out of here, Jared.
No, it's not compelling enough, my dude. I'm sorry.
Speaking of other stuff that we need to talk to you about, Stephanie, let's talk about your use of the word female.
Yeah. Oh, man. We get a lot of that in this one, huh?
Stephanie, what's with that, actually?
It's so, like, the way that she talks about, like, women and, like, sexuality in any form, it's so, like, medical feeling and so, like, icky and, like, fluorescent and just, like, weird. Like, it's just so alien. And it's like, literally. I don't think she just knows. Do you not know how women are? Like, do you not know how to empathize with fellow women? Like, what is not clicking, Miss Meyer? What's going on?
Yes, I 100% agree. I think that has been that's been a tough thing, right, with Wanderer, is that, like, we don't know Wanderer's pronouns because Wanderer is not from this planet.
Right.
Like, and so Wanderer is now identifying as female, whatever that means.
Female.
Like,
bold italics quotes.
But that is also, like, an Earth thing.
Right. It's still them, like, translating their own experiences to something that other people could understand in a way that makes the most sense. You know, it's not, like, an actual reflection of any identity or whatever. It's just, like, this is, like, how there's, like, reproduction and, like, all these different things that are, like, that are part of this race and species or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is the easiest way to explain it to you. So your tiny little baby brains
exactly. Yeah, it's like, here, I'm surrounded by all of these other dudes.
Yeah.
Like, all of these other guys, and I'm trying to explain how reproduction in my species works.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm trying to use words that you understand so that you get it.
Right.
And so it's like, like, it feels like the way that I tried to understand this was like trying to draw pictures on a whiteboard.
Right.
Like, here is what the images that you understand it in, even if those are not the things that I actually use.
Right.
On here. The way that I could describe, and that's why I tried to use that image, is like, the way that I understood this chapter is a lot like the sex ed talk in Mean Girls.
Yes.
Is it came across a lot like, if you reproduce, you will die.
Yes.
That does not surprise me, given what we know about Stephanie Meyer.
Right.
And so it doesn't surprise me, but it still disappoints me that the reproduction with Wanderer's species has to exist where the mothers that they have, at least that's the term that Wanderer is using, only, and I think also uses, like, queens as well, only exist like, they reproduce, but they also will die as well.
Right.
And it's like, hey, Stephanie, why is it that the moms always die in your story?
Yeah.
What's with that?
And it's like, she uses it too in a way that, like, it's the only thing that makes Wanderer, like, human, right?
Yeah.
To these other people. So, like, oh, we get it now because you're a lady and you have lady problems and, like, you have your whole thing. And it's like, no, Wanderer could have just been fucking vibing and still had the respect of everyone here. But now that you get a connection to this, like, weird depiction of, like, maternal energy and biology and whatever, like, now you're like, oh, maybe you're close. Maybe we're not so dissimilar, you and I, you know? Maybe you do have some human parts somewhere, even if it's, like, mutilated and translated in totally different ways. It's like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we just... Guys.
I only understand you as something valuable because rather than you having eggs, you have thousands of little, like, silver vibey things. Right. And it's like, no, shut the fuck up. Like, what?
Yeah.
Stop. The way that this is described in here, again, does not surprise me. But it just is so fucking gross that it made me very uncomfy. Like,
yes.
The idea of Stephanie writing 1,000,000 tiny, helpless souls, tiny silver babies.
Yeah.
It just made me very uncomfy.
Yeah. Reasonable. Totally reasonable.
It makes me sad for her interpretation of how she interprets worth in other people.
Yeah.
Whether that is her personal views now or whether that was, like, what she was indoctrinated through her religion. But it's just, that's, like, a really limited view of worth for other people.
Right.
And it was just gross. Like, and it was hard to read because I was just gross. Anyways, so there was lots of Wander trying to express that they are worthy because they can reproduce.
Yeah.
And all the guys being like, oh, great. Cool. So that's great. Also, Walter dies.
Yeah, rip.
So that's a thing. So Wander has, like, been in the health, not the health room, but, like, there's, like, a fancy name for health rooms. Whatever. It's like a health wing for a while now.
Sure, yeah.
And so Wanda can now try to, like, be in peace, knowing that he is out of pain. There's a fun, and I say fun in very strong quotes here, fun little switcheroo, where Wanda had to come to this grasp of understanding morphine to mean that you die, and then gets a little poke of morphine and has to be like, oh, am I dying now? So that's great.
Great. Love it.
And so that's fun. But does not die. And instead is in the outside now. So good.
Cool.
And has to grapple with the fact that people drugged them without consent. Super cool. Super great.
Yeah.
Super fun. Just to, under the guise of, like, making the injuries more tolerable, which, like, true. But also not cool. They are outside to lay Walter to rest, which, fair, get it, understandable. Yeah. Wander also gets to, like, say some words about Walter, which is nice. Seems odd, given, like, knowing Walter for, like, 2 chapters, but, impactful experience, so I get it. Makes sense. Yeah. But then this ends and they're like, oh, we gotta take you back. They don't trust you to just have a bandana on, even though you've, like, saved our lives. So we are going to drug you again.
So, great. Love that. I think that's a fair
trade. And we're
trade.
not going to ask you if it's okay. We are just going to do it again.
Where's the fun in that, you know?
And so that happens.
Very cool. Love that.
And
smooth sailing.
So again, Stephanie is back at it again with the morphine. Yeah. And I'm hoping that when we are in chapters 25 and 26, that does not happen again, because it makes me very mad.
Yeah.
Because it's gross, Stephanie. Please don't do that again. It pisses me off.
Can we not? Like once? Please?
I'm gonna spray you with water, Stephanie. Stop it.
Once in your life.
Me off.
Can you not put your characters in compromising positions for no reason and in ways that are awful?
Can you not do stuff without their consent, Stephanie? Please and thank you. Gotta not be angry when we thank our patrons. Yes. That's not the vibe. That's not the vibe.
Channel a positive energy. We're better than her.
100%. Great. I have so much love to give to our patrons.
Yes, absolutely.
And when I think of love, I think of ham.
Yes.
I'm specifically thinking of the ham horn. And I
do like, though, that if people don't know what that means, they just think you're really into ham.
I fucking love ham.
Okay, honestly. So it works either way. Dual purpose. Great. Just making sure we're on the right track here. I don't want anyone to get confused.
I do love ham. I'm not really a big
You're a ham
Easter person, but I would fuck up a ham, honestly.
Yeah.
And Gushers. Gushers also make me happy.
Yes, top tier.
100%. I do hope for your sake that you do find those sour Gushers one of these days.
Oh man, I'm still on the hunt, you know? I will not stop.
Oh, absolutely. Would you like to start with our patrons this week?
Absolutely. Thank you to Mallory Hardwick.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Shout out to Kylie Minty.
Kylie, woo! Thank you to Elizabeth James.
Ow! Yeah!
Ooh!
Thank you to Jess Love.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah.
Thank you to Alex Dornan. Thank
you to Carrie Goldberg.
Ooh! Ooh!
Yes.
Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Woo!
Ow!
Shout out Zoe Steele.
Ow, ow, ow. Thank you to Rebecca Cullen.
Ow.
Ow, yeah. Ow.
Thank you to Amy Taylor.
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Mulch Gray. Mulch.
Shout out to Taylor Brown Town Lautner. Who I'm currently wearing her earrings, so.
Holy shit.
Flex.
Holy shit. Thank you to Aaron Weber.
Boing, 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 boing.
Bam, 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 bam.
Shout out to Gwen Stanley.
Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ooh, yes. Ooh. Shout out to Bailey Christian.
Boom, 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 boom. Thank you to Jay Molina. Bing, 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 bing.
Shout out Cassandra Bomer.
Bing, 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 bing. Thank you to Toussaint Wanderer.
Ow.
Ow.
Yeah. Ow. Shout out Kristen Strider.
Ow, 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 ow. Thank you to my mom, your mom, everyone's mom, Kelly Beck.
Everyone's mom.
Everyone's mom.
Shout out Aaron Salinger.
Ow, 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 ow. Yes. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Boing, 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 boing.
Bam, 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 bam.
Thank you to India Peach.
Ow, ow.
Ooh.
Thank you to Casey Yorkie.
Ooh, yeah. Shout out to Sarah Blythe.
Oh. And last but not least, thank you to Laura 40.
Oh my god, the crowd's going wild for all these patrons. Oh my god.
Encore. If I had to do an encore, I would pass out. So I will not.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a fan fiction here for you that was brought to us by our unofficial intern.
Yes. Taylor transcends
Brown.
titles, you know?
That's true. Time and titles. Taylor Brown Tom Lauder.
That's true.
This was published on February 6th, 2010. This was written by Crucia, and it is titled, oh my god, Glee White. Glee White?
Sure.
It is a Twilight and Glee crossover. Here is the summary. Shh, Edward, it's on, Bella said as she jumped on the couch, shushing me. It's almost time for Glee. Remember how we waited 3 weeks before another episode of Glee? Wasn't it canceled? Well, we must all thank the Cullens for its return, but how did they do it? Author's note at the end. It's really sad to say, but I don't own Twilight or Glee. This is set after Breaking Dawn for now. This is from Edward's point of view. This is very specific. October 21st, 2009. So the cast of Glee was doing Bust a Move as I watch it. It was originally sung by some wannabe rapper that I remember was in music mainstream in the late 80s. It was bad then and still is now as I watch it being sang. I'm still wondering who picked this song. Actually, I want to know who picked this guy's wardrobe. I know he's not supposed to be the coolest teacher, but even Jasper has a better sense of style, without Alice's help, that is, than his stylist. I've watched only about 15 minutes of this ridiculous TV show, and then I find it quite boring, to tell you the truth. At the beginning, there is this one guy named Thim or something, got slushied. What was that about? What really got to me was that Flight of the Bumblebee was being sung with repetitive laws in the background. Wow. Then these 2 teachers proclaim their love, but they don't want anybody to know. And I can totally see that their marriage won't work. Thong song? Really? As a first dance? No. And then they start singing, and I think I've had enough of this show. The teacher is the one singing the main vocals, and everybody around is dancing. And the people like this kind of stuff. And then he starts, quote, busting a move and break dances. And seriously, Jacob Black is a better dancer than he is with his 2 left feet. And why is he touching all of his students? Inappropriate much? And then he goes to this one guy named Kurt, as I've just been told. And from what I see, tries to, quote, get low. This has ableist language, I just now found out. Who's the idiot that came up with these dance moves anyways with him? But this Kurt character is unimpressed. Good for you, kid. And walks away. Then all the other people start jumping in unison. And I think I've had enough of this Bollywood act. End scene.
Wow. That is art.
The idea of Edward, because he, in just a second, would, like, jump up off the couch and be like, I can't do this anymore. The idea of him watching this, having this inner monologue, being like, I cannot believe that someone is singing the thong song on television is...
Who let this go to air?
On Fox, of all things.
Yeah. Clutching his pearls.
Absolutely. You know he would be blushing is amazing to me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know he would be, like, writing in, complaining, like... That's amazing. Thank you for sending that in, Taylor. Yes. That's great. It's a great piece of literature. We salute you.
Yes.
Thank you for your hard work, for your service.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, until next week.
Way-ho. Just one last one for the road.
As we say in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
and get whipped and get Way-Ho.
Ooh, Way-Ho.
And Way-Ho.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. Our theme music is by Eli Krause, and our artwork is by Maddie Padilla. Follow the show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. Send us an email or a fanfiction at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can find Allie at Into Wild Places and me at Cody Crow.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.